Petr Cech is on the ground at Reading's Madejski Stadium. A knee connects with his skull at full force. He is unconscious before he hits the turf. The surgeons tell him afterward that another impact in the same place could have killed him. He returns to football wearing a rugby helmet, and for the rest of his career, people watch him differently, wondering if something has been lost. Every year, players return from serious injury and are declared fit. The scan is clean, the ligament holds, the muscle has repaired, the medical team signs off, the manager picks them, and the crowd expects what was there before. Sometimes it returns, often it does not. The body can be rebuilt with extraordinary precision now. Surgeons reconstruct anterior cruciate ligaments with near-perfect mechanical accuracy. Rehabilitation science has made a career-ending injury into a career-interrupting one. But the injury leaves a second mark that no MRI can detect. It rewires how a player reads danger, how they commit to a challenge, how they move in the half-second before contact. The problem is that football requires the brain to stop doing it, and some players never manage that. The brain is a prediction machine. Every movement a player makes is built on a model, a set of fast, unconscious expectations about what the body can do and what the environment will do back. Injury breaks that model. When Mohamed Salah hit the turf at the 2018 Champions League final, his shoulder torn, the physical damage was measurable. What was harder to measure was what happened next. And for months, the brain quietly rebuilt its model, not around what the shoulder could do, but around what it had just done. Around the memory of a joint giving way. And it does not feel like fear. It feels like hesitation. A slightly late weight transfer, a fraction of a second where the full commitment does not come. Research from the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that more than half of athletes who completed full physical recovery from ACL injuries still showed elevated fear of movement scores 12 months later. Their bodies were ready, their brains were not. Salah came back. He was fine. But not every player gets back to fine, and the ones who don't are often told they have a confidence problem, as if confidence were simply a decision you make. There is a concept in neuroscience called predictive coding. The brain does not passively receive information. It generates a constant stream of predictions about what is about to happen, and it only updates when reality contradicts those predictions. For a player who has been seriously injured, the prediction stream is different. The leg goes, the contact happens, the brain registers confirmation. The brain has updated its model. It now anticipates the possibility of failure at the moment of full commitment. And so, a fraction of a second before contact, it sends a quiet signal. Wayne Rooney described something close to this after his metatarsal injuries in the mid-2000s. Just a subtle loss of the thing that used to be automatic. That noise is the brain doing its job. It is protecting the body from repeating a traumatic event. In evolutionary terms, it is sophisticated and rational. Here is the part that makes it harder. The noise is invisible to everyone except the player. Coaches see a drop in performance. Analysts see reduced sprint distances or lower tackle counts. But the player experiences something no external observer can fully access, a body that no longer entirely trusts itself. And it is the one that receives the least attention. Returning from serious injury does not just change how a player moves. It changes who they are in the dressing room, in press conferences, in the private calculation of their own career. Gareth Southgate missed a penalty at Wembley in 1996. That is not an injury in the physical sense, but the psychological architecture of what followed is nearly identical to what happens after a torn ligament. The event becomes a reference point the brain returns to. It sits in memory with a particular emotional charge. And in any future situation that resembles it, the brain retrieves that charge before it retrieves anything else. Emiliano Martinez spoke in 2022 about the periods earlier in his career when opportunities kept slipping away, not through injury, but through circumstance. The psychological toll of that was, by his account, indistinguishable from a kind of grief. For players recovering from physical injury, the same process runs. The version of the body that moved without consultation. And when that version does not fully return, the player has to build a new identity around what remains. Some do this brilliantly. Petr Cech became, by many accounts, a more technically complete goalkeeper after his injury. He compensated with positioning, with angles, with anticipation. He built a different game, but Cech had exceptional psychological resources and an exceptional support structure. Most players get a physiotherapist, a return-to-play protocol, and a manager who needs them back by March. The research on this is sparse but consistent. A 2019 study in the Journal of Athletic Training found that psychological readiness at the point of return to sport was a stronger predictor of re-injury than any physical metric. Players who felt ready came back. Players who had been certified ready but did not feel it retore, restrained, rebroke. Petr Cech walks back onto a pitch in 2007. The helmet sits on his head. The scans are clear. The surgeons have done their work. He sets himself between the posts and the game begins. And from the outside, it looks like a return. What it actually is a negotiation between the player he was and the player the brain has decided, in the interest of survival, that he must now become. Some players win that negotiation. Some lose it. Most never fully understand that it was happening at all.